Joining me now is Josh Dowlut, Republican candidate for Congress in Maryland's 2nd District. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Dowlut, tell me, what do you see as the single most important issue facing the nation and your district right now?
Jobs and the economy. And for this 2nd District specifically, the fact that the man who's in there now doesn't have a clue how to fix either. We had a recent jobs report on Friday, 9.5% unemployment. But the really bad thing is the fact that we've been bouncing around 10% for over a year now, and there's no end in sight, and there's really no hope in sight. And I hope to change that.
Tell me, what would you do in office to affect the greatest change and improve the quality of life of your constituents?
Specifically, we must abandon the stereotypical choice between the Democrat plan, which is spend money we don't have, and the Republican plan, which is cut taxes on the rich and big businesses, Fortune 500 companies. I offer an alternative plan. Let's cut taxes on the middle class and small businesses. And in order to avoid impending insolvency, let's acknowledge the fact that there's not enough government waste to cut unless you cut grandma's Social Security check as government waste. The fact of the matter is you could eliminate everything outside of entitlements and defense spending, and we'd still be in a $600 billion a year hole. That's a truth that few candidates want to admit, but it's one that we all must recognize if we're going to move through it and avoid insolvency. Specifically, I would advocate cutting payroll taxes on small businesses. Payroll taxes are taxes on gross wages. And I would also advocate deregulating small businesses. There's a big difference between deregulating big banks and deregulating small businesses, but the payroll tax functions as both a regulatory burden and a tax burden.
Now, you said you're in the mortgage business. What assets would you think you would bring to this office?
Well, I've got 5 years of experience as a small business owner, and I can attest to the firsthand knowledge of how it is to have to work within the confines of government regulations and specifically the payroll tax. Few people outside of small business owners and HR managers know that in order to run $1,000 payroll on an employee, $1,100 actually comes out of the employer's checking account. It's effectively a 10% surcharge on gross wages. And 3,000 small businesses closed in Maryland last year. The typical Republican plan of cutting the corporate income tax wouldn't have done a darn thing for any of these struggling small businesses because they don't have any profits. But if they have payroll, a cut in the payroll tax will help them. The fact of the matter is, for just about any business, their payroll taxes are going to absolutely dwarf their corporate income taxes. And this is a concept that outside of small business owners is foreign.
So I guess what's the single most important message you'd want to convey to voters?
That we've got to drop our differences and focus on solving the most pressing matters at hand. There's a lot of divider issues out there. There's a lot of social issues out there. This isn't the election for them. This is the election for banding together, rejecting the problems that have gotten us into this hole, and using common sense to fix them. And that means cut taxes on small businesses and cut taxes on the middle class.
Anything about voters that you'd like voters to know about you that they don't know?
I was in the Marine Reserves for 6 years. I also organized the Sheila Dixon pension protest. And I have a burning desire to fight the injustice that is so permeated within our system right now. We can debate over whether or not it's right to take from the rich and give to the poor, just as soon as we all agree that doing the opposite is 100% wrong. And my opponent, Dutch Ruppersberger, voted for the bank bailouts, which are ongoing, and did exactly that. Took from the working class, gave to rich Wall Street bankers. It can't be accepted.
Okay. Josh Dowlut, Republican candidate for Congress in Maryland's 2nd District, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.